All right, on to the next thing. Yes, as some of you, I don't know if all of you are aware, but this past week, uh, what was it? Yes, the governor of Virginia, in a interview on some sort of local radio program, kind of, made a case, talking about like uh, the law that they were trying to pass, kind of like New York, to have late term abortions, and Governor Northam, he basically made an endorsement for infanticide, and I know how that sounds. That sounds like that sounds like hyperbole. But I promise you, go look up the clip yourself. He says, basically, we could, the mother can deliver the baby. We'll put it aside and we'll have a conversation. See, about whether to kill it or not. After it's been born, after it is, swaddled, after it is, cleaned up, you're gonna then decide whether or not you're going to kill it. And he has experienced some blowback or backlash from it. Nothing terrible, just it's kind of remarkable because he's also he's not just a governor. He's also in a previous life he was a doctor. He was a pediatric neuro something or other, something to do with like pediatrics. So out of anybody, he should know better. About the viability of a baby or whatever. But a couple of days later, it comes out that this photo of him from when he was in medical school, and it's supposedly either of him in blackface or in a KKK hood, like costume. And then it's hilarious because all of a sudden people on the left, people within his own party, are calling for his resignation because of this supposed racism, but not because of the infanticide that he was proposing or that he was promoting. Wait, did I say promoting? Okay. Sometimes I can't even. But yeah, it was bizarre. It was completely and utterly bizarre because here's the governor of Virginia on a radio show saying, yeah, we'll abort the baby. We'll abort the baby all the way to the point where the mother is having contractions. When the baby's crowning, we'll abort it. We'll abort it even then. But no one says anything. I think people are horrified, but there's no reaction from mainstream media or or celebrities or people like that. But then all of a sudden, this picture of him from 30 plus years ago, and all of a sudden it's he needs to resign because of racism, not because he he was saying oh yeah, let's kill the babies. And so I don't know about you guys. But I think advocating for baby murder is worse than finding a picture of a guy in his college days, either in blackface or in a KKK hood. Although there is a very interesting clip of when he was running for lieutenant governor, and they were doing a debate between him and the other candidate for lieutenant governor, and I mean, being lieutenant governor, it wasn't given that much pomp and circumstance. It was just like him and the other candidate, and they're just on like I don't know if it was on the radio or some local public access thing, but the two candidates, Northam and the other candidate, I forget his name, sitting next to each other, and it was the start of the debate, and the other candidate, reached out his hand, reached out his hand to Northam to shake, before the debate, and it's like, kind of like, just kind of like, manners, like, okay, good luck to you, sir. But he doesn't, and then kind of initially it's just like, oh, he doesn't see him reaching out his hand, and then he kind of like taps his leg, and still like no reaction. He's Northam is just looking straight ahead. But the interesting thing is that this other candidate was black. He was a black man. He reached out his hand to shake, no response. He tried to get his attention by tapping Northam's leg. No reaction, like literally no reaction. It wasn't just, so if it turned out that he was the one in blackface, I wouldn't be surprised. If he was the one in the KKK costume, I wouldn't be surprised. Yes, I know, and that's just one instance. I'll grant you that. It was just one instance. But I mean, if you saw the clip, you would think, oh my God, this man is a racist. Because I promise you that I am not exaggerating the details of that video. All right, they're both sitting next to each other. The black candidate reaches out his hand to shake. No response. He tries to get Northam's attention. Kind of taps him on the leg. Still no response. And I mean, I don't know. Maybe the black guy is really a jerk, and he's really and that black candidate was really the monster. But I mean, in politics, a clip like that can end you, and it kind of is. So again, I think the infanticide is worse than the racism, or and people are gonna be like, oh, this is back when he was a young person, he was being stupid. He was in freaking medical school. This wasn't his junior high yearbook. He was a young adult. He was 20. He was in his early to mid 20s. He was in medical school. So I mean, if he was at least 25, then he was, or if he was at the most 25, then his frontal lobe was fully developed, and he was fully aware of his actions. I don't know, which one do you think is worse, the racism or the infanticide? You tell me.